150 years ago, Geelong was a town of some 23,000. It was connected by railway lines to Melbourne, and the line to Ballarat was under construction. Football, as we know it, had begun a year earlier, as Melbourne Grammar and Scotch College forged their own rudimentary clash on what is now the car park of the Melbourne Cricket Ground. A set of rules would be drawn up in Melbourne, and as the game evolved in Geelong, a different set of rules would be used. Gradually, a uniform code would come into existence. Advertisements were placed in the local newspaper, and on Saturday, July the 23rd, 1859, a match was held near the Corio Cricket Ground, and according to all, it was a great success. Historian Russell Stevens claims Geelong played 7 games that year and ended with a profit of ½ a crown, or 25 cents. According to historian Roy Hay, players moved freely between clubs. Tom Wills turned out for Melbourne, Richmond and Geelong, and indeed would play anywhere he could get a game, at cricket as well as football. His cousin, HCA Harrison, had a season in Geelong when he was working there, swapping sides during one match to even up the competition. Players were only distinguished by the caps they wore, or even just a ribbon. By the mid-60s, Geelong was one of the most successful clubs, superior to any in Melbourne, and the strongest of the growing band of local teams. In 1877, Geelong and local rival Barwon would become inaugural members of the Victorian Football Association. The next year, the Pivot would go through the season undefeated in its spiffy blue and white hooped uniform. The 1880s would be a golden era for Geelong. When Phil McShane kicked 51 goals in 1886, the club was on its way to a 4th premiership in 5 years, garnering huge local support. Geelong won 7 VFA premierships and was one of the great powers when the opportunity came to break away and join 7 other clubs in the new Victorian Football League. It jumped at the chance. In 1897, the first year of the VFL, Geelong overcame a slow start to eventually win through to the round-robin finals, finishing runner-up to Essendon. The messy system of deciding the premier team would be costly to Geelong in those early years, as the side constantly finished at the top of the table, yet came to grief in the convoluted final system. By 1910, Geelong had become a city, the football club had been reorganised, and Dave Higginbotham, captain of the 1886 champions, would become the first of 30 men to coach the club in the century to come.
You watch him look for the lead from Wade.